Dear listeners, I welcome you to my channel. Leave your comments and impressions, I value your opinion. The shimmering lights of the ballroom cascade across the gathering, reflecting the carefree smiles and animated conversations of the corporate elite. I, Nathan Roberts, Chief Financial Officer of Carter Technologies, maneuver through clusters of colleagues, pretending to be engrossed in their success stories and stock tips. But tonight, my mind is far from profits and portfolios. It harbors a storm, brewing silently since the moment I overheard a whispered phone call last week. A call that involved my wife, Lisa, and a person whose voice I didn't recognize. As I feign interest in a detailed account of a merger from a fellow executive, I spot Lisa across the room. She's radiant in her crimson dress, her laughter a melody that once soothed my deepest fears. Beside her stands a man, unfamiliar yet intimate in his gestures towards her. A pang of betrayal tightens around my chest. The evening drags on, a slow, torturous crawl towards the inevitable. The band shifts gears into a lively tune, the cue for speeches and champagne. I take a sip from my glass, the bubbles doing little to lift the heaviness in my heart. It's then that Lisa approaches, her companion in tow, their hands suspiciously entwined. "Darling," Lisa begins, her voice a rehearsed calm. "This is Ethan." Her eyes don't meet mine, focusing instead somewhere over my shoulder. Ethan, tall and impeccably dressed, offers a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. "Nice to meet you, Nathan." His hand extends towards me, but it feels like a challenge rather than a greeting. The moment lingers, awkward and charged, before Lisa continues. "I'm leaving with him for a couple of days. We need to sort out some things." She swallows hard, her glance finally meeting mine. "And so you won't be upset. My friend Jenna will take care of you while I'm away." The absurdity of the situation nearly makes me laugh. Jenna, who now steps forward, gives me a sympathetic look that irks me more than the bombshell Lisa just dropped. "Nathan, Jenna begins, but I raise my hand to stop her. "No need, Jenna." My voice is steadier than I feel. "I appreciate the consideration, but I won't be needing any company." Lisa looks taken aback, her plan not including my refusal. Ethan's grip tightens on her hand, perhaps sensing her faltering confidence. "But Nathan," I thought. "I know what you thought," I interrupt, the clarity of the moment crystallizing within me. "You thought I'd be broken, distraught? Or perhaps you hoped I'd make a scene?" I take a step closer, my gaze fixed on Lisa. "But I was prepared for such a scenario," I continue, the silence around us growing as onlookers sense the drama unfolding. "You see, I hired a private investigator last week when I first had my suspicions." The color drains from her face. Ethan looks between us, confusion etched across his features. "And," I add, my voice low but carrying, "not only do I know about Ethan here, but I also have enough to ensure that this departure of yours will be quite costly." Lisa's mouth opens, but no sound comes. Ethan, now visibly unnerved, loosens his hold on her. "As for these next few days," I turn away, giving them my back. "I'll be taking a little trip myself. A reflective one to think about how best to handle this mess you've created." The whispers swell as I walk away, leaving a stunned silence in my wake. I don't look back. The storm inside me now feels like the onset of something fierce and new, an uncharted course that I am somehow ready to navigate. As I step out into the crisp night air, my breath visible in puffs of white, my phone vibrates urgently in my pocket. The caller ID flashes Dan Thompson, my old college buddy and now a lawyer who specializes in high-stakes divorces. I hesitate for a moment before answering, knowing that this conversation marks the start of a tumultuous journey. "Nathan." Dan's voice is brisk, infused with a mixture of concern and professional detachment. "I got your message. Are you okay?" "I've been better," I admit, watching as my exhaled breath mingles with the cold night. "I need to start the divorce proceedings." She brought him to the corporate party, Dan announced their trip right in front of me. There's a pause on the other end, a soft clack of a keyboard in the background. "I'll file the initial papers first thing in the morning. Have you got somewhere to stay tonight?" "I'm heading to the lake house," I say, the decision forming as I speak. It feels right. Away from the city, away from the prying eyes of mutual friends and pitying colleagues. "Good. Lay low for a bit. I'll handle things from here," Dan advises. "And Nathan, document everything. It might come in handy." After hanging up, I head straight to the parking lot where my car waits, a silent companion ready to whisk me away from this nightmare. The drive is a blur, my thoughts a chaotic whirlwind. When I finally pull up to the lake house, the moon is high, casting silvery ripples across the water's surface. I'm not inside for more than 10 minutes when there's a knock at the door. Cautiously, I peer out the window to see a familiar face. Mia, Lisa's younger sister. Confusion wars with irritation. Mia has always been closer to Lisa than to me. Nathan, please, she calls through the door, her voice tinged with urgency. I open the door reluctantly. What are you doing here, Mia? My tone is wary. I heard about what Lisa did, she begins, shifting uncomfortably on the doorstep. I'm not here for her. I'm here because I think what she's doing is wrong, and I want to help you. Her sincerity appears genuine, and despite my better judgment, I let her in. I don't understand. Why would you want to help me after she's chosen to do this? I ask as we sit across from each other in the dimly lit living room. Mia bites her lip, her resolve clear. Because what she's doing is not just wrong to you, it's wrong, period, and I think she's making a mistake she doesn't fully understand yet. We talk for hours, Mia providing insights into Lisa's behavior and her relationship with Ethan, information that could prove useful in the coming legal battle. As she speaks, I take meticulous notes, aware that every piece of information could be a potential asset. As dawn breaks, a plan begins to form, molded by necessity and the desire for a resolution that protects my interests. Mia, surprisingly, becomes an ally in a situation where I expected to stand alone. I'll need all the help I can get, I confess as Mia prepares to leave. The early morning light casts long shadows across the floor, mirroring the long road ahead. I'll do whatever I can, she promises, stepping out into the morning chill, a determined look on her face. As she drives away, I turn back to the house, steeling myself for the challenges to come. With a newfound ally and a reservoir of resolve, I'm ready to face whatever Lisa and Ethan throw my way. The battle lines are drawn, and I am not just a participant, I am a strategist with a clear vision of victory. As the sun peaks over the horizon, casting a golden glow that seems at odds with my turbulent emotions, my phone buzzes with a relentless urgency. It's Dan again, his voice crisp and businesslike when I answer. Nathan, good news. I've pushed through the initial filings, and we got a court date. But we need more than just your testimony and the basic facts. Any leverage could be crucial. Understood, I respond, feeling the weight of the upcoming legal battle. Mia visited last night. She's on our side and provided some useful insights. That's excellent. Can you meet at my office today? We should strategize face to face, Dan suggests. Give me an hour, I agree, my resolve hardening. I end the call, dress quickly, and drive to the city, the familiar streets now tinged with the memories of a life that is rapidly unraveling. Dan's office is a fortress of calm. As I enter, his assistant nods, ushering me directly into his inner sanctum. The walls are lined with books and awards, a testament to his prowess in the legal field. Dan doesn't waste time. Let's dive right in. The more ammunition we have, the better. We pore over documents and texts, Mia's statements adding depth to the narrative. As we align our strategy, my phone rings again. This time, it's Jenna, Lisa's friend who was supposed to take care of me. Nathan. Jenna's voice quivers slightly. I'm really sorry about what Lisa is doing. I had no idea she was planning this, and I want to help. Her offer catches me off guard. Jenna's closeness with Lisa had always made me wary of trusting her. Why would you want to help me, Jenna? I ask, skepticism lacing my tone. I've known Lisa for years, but what she's doing is wrong. I believe in fairness, Nathan, and maybe I was wrong about Ethan too. There's a lot you don't know. Dan, overhearing the conversation, gestures for me to put Jenna on speaker. Jenna, this is Dan Thompson, Nathan's attorney. Anything you say can significantly impact the case. Are you willing to come in and make a formal statement? There's a pause, a hesitation laden with fear or perhaps regret. Yes, I'll come in. It's the right thing to do. Arrangements made, Jenna hangs up, leaving Dan and me to consider this unexpected alliance. Two insiders willing to testify against Lisa, Dan muses, tapping his pen against the desk. This could swing things significantly in our favor. As we prepare for Jenna's arrival, I can't help but feel the tides turning. What began as a personal crisis is morphing into a battle for justice and reparation. When Jen arrives, her eyes are red-rimmed but determined. Under Dan's careful guidance, she recounts conversations and incidents involving Lisa and Ethan that paint a picture of deceit and manipulation. Recording everything, Dan nods appreciatively. This is good, very good. With this testimony, we can build a strong case for not just divorce, but also for settlements in your favor. Jenna leaves, looking lighter than when she arrived, her burden of guilt somewhat alleviated by her confession. As the door closes behind her, Dan turns to me with a strategist's smile. Nathan, it's time to go on the offensive. We're not just going to respond. We're going to take control of this narrative. Are you ready for this? Standing up, I feel a surge of energy fueled by betrayal but refined by strategy and support. I'm ready. Let's do this. With each piece of evidence, with each ally's testimony, the storm within me grows stronger, channeled into a force that will, I hope, soon clear the skies. The courtroom buzzes with a subdued tension as I take my seat, the murmurs of the spectators a low hum in the background. Today, the truths and lies intertwined in my marriage will be laid bare, and the outcome will set the course for my future. Dan sits beside me, his demeanor calm yet alert, a seasoned navigator ready to steer through the tempest of legal arguments. As Lisa and Ethan enter, a cold silence follows them, their confidence seeming to falter under the weight of the courtroom's scrutiny. Lisa avoids my gaze, but Ethan's eyes meet mine briefly, a flash of uncertainty in his. Judge Martin, an imposing figure with a reputation for fairness, calls the room to order. We are here to discuss the matters of the dissolution of marriage between Nathan Roberts and Lisa Roberts. Counsel, you may begin your opening statements. Dan stands, clearing his throat. Your Honor, we will demonstrate not only that Mrs. Roberts has breached the trust and vows of her marriage, but that she and Mr. Ethan Cole have conspired in a way that has caused significant emotional and financial damage to Mr. Roberts. We seek not only a dissolution of marriage, but also appropriate reparations for the damages incurred. The proceedings unfold with meticulous precision. Dan calls Jenna to the stand first, her testimony painting a vivid picture of Lisa's manipulation. Mia follows, her reluctance visible but her resolve firm as she corroborates Jenna's statements and provides her own insights into Lisa's deceit. When it's time for Lisa to take the stand, the courtroom tightens with anticipation. Her lawyer, a smooth talker named Reynolds, guides her through a narrative of discontent and emotional distance in our marriage, painting her as the neglected spouse seeking solace. However, Dan is prepared. Mrs. Roberts, isn't it true that you and Mr. Cole had planned this affair long before you approached your husband with your decision to leave? Lisa stumbles, her facade cracking. It wasn't like that. It just happened. But you introduced Mr. Cole to your husband at a party as someone important to you, correct? Dan presses, his tone even but sharp. Yes, but... And at any point before this party did you discuss your relationship issues with your husband or seek counseling? Lisa hesitates, the silence stretching. No, but... No further questions. Dan cuts in, and Lisa's retreat to her seat is a quiet admission of her crumbling defense. As the final arguments are made, Judge Martin nods thoughtfully, his gaze sweeping over us. I will review the testimonies and evidence. We will reconvene this afternoon for the verdict. The break is a tense, restless interlude. When we return, the atmosphere is charged, every eye fixed on Judge Martin as he takes his seat. Having reviewed the case, I find in favor of Mr. Nathan Roberts, he begins, his voice resonant in the suddenly still room. I grant the divorce on the grounds of infidelity and deception. Furthermore, I award Mr. Roberts a significant portion of the marital assets, taking into account the premeditated actions of Mrs. Roberts and Mr. Cole. Relief floods through me, mingled with an exhaustion that sinks deep into my bones. Lisa's face is a mask of shock, her plans unraveling in the finality of the judge's words. But the real surprise comes after the court adjourns. As the crowd disperses, Ethan approaches me, a complex expression of regret and relief on his face. Nathan, I don't need your apologies, Ethan, I interrupt, my voice steady. What I need is to start anew, far from all this. Actually, I want to thank you, Ethan says, causing me to pause in surprise. Being dragged into this, seeing all the pain it's caused. It made me realize how misguided this all was. I'm leaving Lisa too. I can't be part of this deceit any longer. His words leave me stunned, an unexpected twist to an already tumultuous chapter. As I leave the courthouse, the sky opens up, a light rain cleansing the city streets. Maybe it's cleansing my path too, washing away the remnants of a storm that's finally passed. The road ahead is uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, it's one I choose for myself, unshadowed by deceit.